Ho, 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 ho. What would you like for Christmas, little boy?
Santa, I want one of those Foxbody wide bodies like that guy at Basin Motorsports is making, with the big fat flares and the 315 tires and the small block and the 5-lug swap. I want one of those.
You don't want one of those. You'll steer it into a crowd.
No! So welcome back to the build for WideFox, my Foxbody Widebody coupe that I'm building. So with the back half of the car done, I feel like it's time to start getting the front end together as much as the back. Both flares are on, fuel tank is in, rear end is in, but if you look here, the whole front end of the car is basically a skeleton. So today is Christmas Eve, and tomorrow makes Christmas. For those that are celebrating Christmas this year, I wish you a Merry Christmas early, and that's why I have the hat on. So if you watched the episode where I said that I was having trouble with the front fender and that, I've kind of kicked it back and forth wondering if I've been too critical on the front end. I know that the fenders themselves are stiff enough that if you pull on the bottom end, it tweaks it here and it pushes it out there. And I'm wondering if making the fascia fit on the fenders themselves, if that's going to play a big part in how they fit. So rather than on the passenger side and the driver's side trying to get them to fit at the cowl area and the back of the door, what I want to do is get this front fascia back on. Now in order to do that, the easy part for me was to just measure where the marks should be based on a scale that I had, and then using the fascia itself, and then just basically putting the holes in similar to what I did on the driver's side. Just measure twice, drill it out with a 3/8 bit, and then that should give me the confidence that I can put the front fascia on, and it's going to fit roughly like I want it to before I fine tune the fit between the fascia and the fenders. Okay, so I put the 1980 fascia back on the car, and it fits pretty darn good. So I will throw up some pictures on Instagram and that. By the time you see this, you'll be like, oh, I've seen that already. That's why. So the couple things that I do notice right away are the templates are very close, but they're not perfect. So I do need to do some fine tuning on the holes through the fiberglass parts. But honestly, we're talking maybe 2 millimeters difference between side to side and that. So really, from eyeballing it with a scale, it's pretty darn good. So I will do some fine adjustments before I get this all bolted down on the holes in that. And I also need to do, if you remember on the lower part of the fascia, that I took the brackets off. So if you remember, I took these brackets off with the studs and that was just to make sure I put the holes in the right place. So I will get those marked, drilled, and then the stabilizer brackets that go from the metal body out to the fender itself, I need to get those also marked and drilled. So I will get that done, and then we will start looking at this back area and see what happens. Okay, so now the question is, everybody's going to be, with the front end on, how's it fit? Meh. Still doesn't fit right. I don't care what anybody says. Let me show you why. So I'll show you on this front end up here. This right here fits okay. Honestly, the radius here is sharper. This is more of a curve, so what I'm gonna have to do is basically build up this surface to match this. This is now too much out, and then this goes too much in, so I need to fix this here, at least a little bit of recess, and then tack it in. This down here, not so bad. Still not sure if I want to put on a piece of extra body molding here, right there, and then maybe taper that in so it matches a little bit there versus the basically the sharp edge of the shutoff. Now, my nemesis piece where the door goes together, you can see I can't even open this door again. So really, honestly, I do not agree that this fender actually fits. I think there's something wrong with the mold, or I don't know. I can't even speculate. But I'm just telling you, these things do not bolt on, but they are going to be fixed. So I think what I'm really going to have to do is just split this thing along the seam up here, get it to where everything fits, and then just re-fiberglass the whole top surface to make it work. This right here, this whole line right there, that is exactly the problem I'm having, is that it's too tight of a bend to where this, you can see there's so much pressure on this thing. And even I honestly tried to pull down with my body weight, and I'm 170 pounds, and I bet I put 100 pounds trying to pull this thing down into place, and still can't get it to take shape. And last but not least, my favorite part up here, you can see where this comes across, and then you can see down in here, this doesn't fit at all. So, what does that mean? It just means I got work to do, that's all. Don't stress about it. These are race car parts going on a street car. Sometimes things just gonna have to make it work for it. So I'm gonna have to work for it. So I'm gonna keep continuing on with this, and I'll show you some finished pieces, but how I'm fine tuning everything, honestly, is a round file. Very simple, doesn't go too fast. I know the Dremel will cut through it really quick, and I was using that for the upper mount holes and that, but this round file takes off just enough and doesn't go crazy with it, and I don't have to worry about it taking off too much. Alright, so with the fascia off, you can see where my template was supposed to be. This circle here was supposed to be my template, and then the silver is where the actual part says it's going to be. So, pretty darn close, really. Alright, so I took the fascia back off real quick, and the last piece I needed to do after it was all connected was really get this brace in place. So once I had everything bolted up, I knew exactly where this needed to go. I basically just put it in place, again, from the inside, mark it, obviously take the fascia back off, drill a hole, and then you can double check that that is where it should be. And then that's the last piece that really needs to get the fascia 100% connected to these bad billies. So let me show you where I think I'm having trouble on these fenders. And I think, I don't know, maybe the blood's rushing to my head, but after looking at it on the back side, upside down, I had an idea. So if you've ever noticed on the back of your OEM fenders, on this upper corner near the cowl and where the door comes in, the curve, there's actually a bracket on there. Now these Maier fenders do not come with that bracket, so I haven't put it on yet. And the reason was, it really shouldn't affect form and function, so I was going to do that last. So put in 2 holes, there's 2 bolts that go into it, so I was just going to put in 2 riv nuts, and basically where it lies, it should, in theory, if you duplicate the OEM piece, it should go on. What I am wondering, I'm wondering if these brackets, these braces, are what is ailing me. Now granted, the outer shells are going to be pretty stiff already. They're a good thick fiberglass, really. And this, I'm wondering if that is really causing me a lot of issue. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut this here, right where it transitions that way, and rather than cut the top surface, I'm going to cut this here first along this, and I'm just going to use the hacksaw. Doesn't have to go crazy, but by golly, this just might work. Alright, so what does a hacksaw do for you? Check that out. So by cutting that brace on the back, it actually relieved a lot of tension that I couldn't overcome here, the radius here. So I can get this pretty darn close. If I pull down on it, it actually will match up right here. I've still got the fascia on it, and it matches, so yay, that fits. I can open the door. So what it means is basically I need a spacer behind here to push this body line out, and then it fits profile, curvature along the door. Not too bad. Yeah. But if you see here, I can still fit my finger in there. That's not 3/8 of an inch or less, so I'm still going to need to do some fiberglass work eventually. And there's a big step between these two that, to me, is not acceptable. But if you see the body line, it comes across here pretty much that way. And I really think this big bulge out right here is a lot of the problem I need to have. So I need to take this and sand this and shave this, just to kind of get it come down in. So definitely making progress. And yeah, I feel pretty good about that. So let me show you one last thing, and then we'll let you go. Hang on. So now with the Cobra R bumper on there, sit back and look at that for a second. Look at that profile. Granted, I know it doesn't fit very well because I haven't started cutting on the bumper yet. But that thing's going to be awesome. Can you imagine that thing? Imagine that thing driving down the road and you're like, oh, what is that? That's WideFox. So with that, I'm going to leave you on the path to discovery of how to get these front fenders to fix and to fit like I want. Who says that drinking beer in the garage always turns bad, especially when there's a hacksaw involved? So if you guys have any questions on these, I know some people have asked my opinion on, are they good, they fit, and all that stuff. And I'll tell you, like I've said, they're not bad. The rears, I'm really pretty happy with the rears. The fronts, well, you can see, I'm still having trouble with them. But in the end, these things are going to fit so awesome. This is going to be such a rad-ass car. So, I'll leave you there with that. Think about that for your Christmas as you're opening gifts and think, Santa, I want a big fat WideFox under my tree. I might just get there. We'll see you next time.